Howdy y'all, I'm ThinkerThunker. I'm just kidding around. Speaking of kids, they're always laughing, bawling, crying, squalling, screaming, giggling, goofing up, messing up, doing things they're not supposed to do, being kids. Now, can you imagine having to be the super silent stealth ninjas of the forest while hauling kids around? More on that later. Okay, so here is the creature. It's sitting with its back to us. Here's the back of its head. You can see it's got a crested head, very thick fur. You see creases in it. This knot is, you have no idea, I've scrubbed through say 20-something thousand individual frames of this footage. And by the way, this is 14 minutes long, so I'm not going to show the whole footage. I'll provide a link though, like I always do to the original. So please just go to TimbergiantBigfoot site and watch that. But this lump, I went so far as to take a still of this. I sent it to 3 medical professionals. I asked them, could this be a tumor? Could this thing, whatever it is, I'm not going to get into whether it's a man in a suit and all of that. Could it be in so much pain that it didn't know or didn't care that somebody had walked up behind it? Could its hearing have been impaired, or its hearing, or vision? And I'll just cut to the chase and say they agreed to a degree. Yes, this could be a type of benign tumor. One of the professionals. The lump has a happy ending. I'll just say that. So now I'm going to quickly give you the highlights. Here is Timbergiant Bigfoot, and this is what he does. He goes out on these walks. He talks to the camera. He sometimes takes his kids, and they show us what they find, and he's enormously successful at it. Go check it out. So here is where we first see the creature, and I've zoomed in like 350%, so it looks a little rougher. That's okay, any footage would. What I want you to see though is this movement that's happening right here. Now, the first I saw anything about this, YouTuber C. Tanner, thanks C, sent me over to a channel of YouTuber Robin Verret, or Robin Verret. Sorry, Robin. Go check that out. Look, you can see the leaves. They match in color and shape these other leaves. And there it goes, and it whips and finishes over here. But my big question, after I established that, was Big Red here, whatever it is, apparently was sitting, and its legs would have had to have been stretched. I mean, way out here, and what was it, holding this tree down with its foot? You don't see its head move around when it's letting go. And so I started wondering, was somebody else here, something else holding this down and playing with that? But look, here's the main thing. Look, no lump on the head. Why does this lump suddenly appear? So more on that mystery here in a minute. Okay, so here's the infamous lump footage, and you can see camera was shaking all around, and he loses it, and he tries to zoom back and pick it up, and now it's gone, and that drives people absolutely crazy. And I'll tell you, in his defense, if indeed he was filming a Bigfoot, he would have been freaking out. His hand, he would have been shaking, pulse would be through the roof, adrenaline surging through his body. He would be panicking. Major athletes panic, so would you. And also, these Timbergiant Bigfoot clacked some sticks or hit a tree, and Big Red immediately stands up, and the party's over. And And now he pans around wildly looking for him, and he's gone. And you know, I'm no expert like the Finding Bigfoot guys, but all this yelling and hollering and screaming and clacking rocks and sticks, maybe that's an insult in Bigfootese. Maybe that's saying, I'm coming over there to stomp your butt. You know, like my proof is it didn't work too well here. So again, now here he's found some apples and nuts and hair, and I believe that is the traditional Canadian dessert for holidays. I'm kidding, of course. My wife and I love Canadian food. There's a little place down the street. And here we find some mysterious stacked logs, and to borrow from Bill Murray's genius, only a Bigfoot could stack logs like that. And here we are almost at the end of the 14-minute clip, and you know, this is some guesswork here, but you know, this looks like a fairly mature tree, some smaller trees, and looking back there, but there's something really wide back there walking around. You see it walk off now. Okay, so I have zoomed in and stabilized it as best I can, and this is playing real time, and here we see the big mass walking through. And now I will pause it and scrub through forward, and we see this big mass here. It looks like all shoulders and long arms with a tiny head there, and it's moving behind this cluster of trees. And look at that, it's already coming out the other side while still over here. Man, that appears to be just massive. And so, you know, you'll hear people say, oh, well, that's CGI. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but if you say that, you don't have the slightest idea what CGI is, how it works. I use CGI software every day. I'm using it right now to do this. It's not CGI. We have never seen one CGI Bigfoot hoax ever. And for proof, just watch a trailer for these new Planet of the Apes movies. A 5-year-old could look at those and say, that's not real, you know? There's just something not quite right about them. And so the go-to response of, well, that's CGI, that's dead in the water. And the other go-to response, well, it's a man in a monkey suit, that's pretty much dead too, because, you know, I did an entire video about the very fact that we have never seen one of these alleged monkey suits ever. Not ever, not even a piece of one. Nothing. And so until you guys maybe show us one of these suits, you know, up close and personal, show somebody trying one on, show us moving and let us see the muscles and how it makes somebody look like they're 5 foot wide and 8 foot tall. Until then, I'm sorry, but both of those old beloved go-to responses, they're dead. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, you have seen the giant revealed. Well, now here is the baby revealed. Are you seeing that? That's real time. And now I'll stop it. And I'll scrub back through. And here is its head. Here is its right arm, its right hand, its right side, its right knee, its foot, and its back. And scrubbing through, we see its head start to come up. And we see its head come up further there. And we see digits in here. And then we lose it. It goes off screen. Look, you can see it grasp right there. I'm just scrubbing backward and forth. That is a little bitty hand grasping. I'm not saying it's a little bitty Bigfoot hand, but it's a little bitty something hand. And so what I did to finally figure this out and see what this lump was, I made an outline of the shape. And then I made everything around it darker, and it helped me see this. So, yes, it had a headache, all right. Just like I did after scrubbing through this for God knows how many hours until I finally figured out what we were seeing. So where had I seen this shape before? Right here. So his little head, arm up, the leg up the same. It's just the same. And look at Mom's expression. That pretty much tells it all. So also the little guy's position. You can tell that they just crawl up, you know, on Mom or Dad or whoever anyway and hang on. And I bet you couldn't pull them off of there. Okay, so Occam's razor time. Which is simpler to believe? That these forest people, whatever you want to call them, they're super elusive, and the only time generally that we even get so much as a glimpse of them is when their children come into play. They're preoccupied. There was some mistake, you know. What parent can identify with that? Or two, that Mr. Timber Giant Bigfoot is some mad, extremely wealthy hoaxer who dedicates 40, 50 hours plus a week, he's prolific, to putting out these videos year after year, and that he had this Bigfoot suit built and then had a infant, almost maybe a newborn Bigfoot suit built, and got somebody to, or had a newborn there, someone who was willing to let their child be in this hoax. Or maybe it was some like super expensive, Hollywood grade or better animatronic baby that they attached to this guy's face to pull off this hoax. But yet they shot it in a way so far back there, so far away. It was such a poor shot that it would take some guy like me who was willing to scrub through, say, about 25,000 frames of this video, frame after frame, backwards and forwards for untold hours, until I finally figured out what it was and was able to show it to the world. It's your call.